Our town. Our town connects our region's people and its communities. From the big issues to the big events and what's happening just down the street. This is Our Town.
Yes, it is Our Town here on News Talk WSIC. Waking up here on a rainy and well, it's not, I won't say gloomy, but it's kind of an overcast day here in Statesville, Troutman, Morrisville, and the Lake Norman area. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody's getting ready for a great weekend. I've got some wonderful, distinguished gentlemen here with me today. I've got Bryan Brusbeck from the Town of Troutman. Sir, good morning.
Thanks, Brian. Glad to be back.
Pull that microphone a little closer there. That's good. And Jeff Smith. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
All right. So, Bryan, I will let's start with you, and then Jeff will talk about what you're here to do. But Bryan, we're in the land of COVID. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And of course, you only been on the job here for how long here at the town?
I started mid-July this past summer.
You're right in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
And you took on
Yeah, I mean things were pretty hectic at a much earlier stage and a lot more confusing at a much earlier stage. So I came in when after the lockdown really. The office at that point in time was closed to the public, but staff was there. Meetings were sporadic. In-person meetings were sporadic. There was still quite a bit of Zoom meetings that were happening and frankly are still happening, but slowly but surely, I think we're getting back, at least in terms of our accessibility to the public and just taking it step by step like everybody else.
So as far as the town hall, are you open?
Yes, sir. Phase 3 did allow us to open town hall to public traffic. So you can access the town hall. We do require that people socially distance. We're asking that folks wear masks. And we still are under, with Phase 3, the executive order didn't change things on gatherings inside of buildings. So we still, long story short, are limited to 25 people inside of our council room at a given time. So during a regular public meeting, we can't have more than 25 people in the room. And even then, we try to space those folks. Our town council meetings, you'll see, are we do 3 and 3, 3 up on the dais and 3 down below, whereas in the old days, we would have had all 6 on the dais.
Right.
So there are still things that we're doing to socially distance, but yeah, the building is open again. We're starting slowly but surely to have regular meetings inside. We're asking staff to wear masks when they can't socially distance, especially out in public. And so, yeah, there again, it's we're in the craziness like everybody else, but just trying to manage best as we can.
So I know the other thing that is on everybody, well, a lot of folks' mind, those who got in arrears on their electric bill. Now, what are you doing? What I've found from talking to Energy United in the city of Statesville, in the town of Morrisville, it's about a 10% of your customers that are in arrears.
Well, we don't have an electric utility like Statesville does. We have, but we do bill for water and sewer.
Water and sewer. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. And COVID did allow us to work with folks that were in arrear on their bills. We were waiving our online convenience fee, and I believe we still waive our online convenience fee. And I think even before COVID, our staff was very understanding and willing to work with people, even pre-financial difficulties that were caused by the pandemic.
Right.
But I think by and large we've been quite fortunate, maybe compared to other communities, as far as how our finances are doing in this tricky time.
Well, speaking of finances, I'll bring on Jeff Smith here. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. Now, tell us about you're with the Rotary Club in Troutman. That's one of your reasons you're here today. But tell us a little bit about your business. Say a little bit about that first.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm a financial planner with Consolidated Planning. We're based really right down the street from Town Hall. And we work with small businesses and individuals to develop their long-term plans.
Right. Okay. So tell us about your work in the town of Troutman, or your community service, I guess, with the Rotary. Tell us a little about what's Rotary up to.
Yeah, absolutely. So COVID definitely changed the way we handled everything that we normally do. We normally have a weekly meeting on Tuesdays at 7:30. when everything shut down, obviously that impacted us, and we started to move to a Zoom format. And out of that Zoom format, as things began to loosen up, we struggled to figure out how we could stay connected to the community and make an impact. And so as we brainstormed around that, some of the things that we tried to do was make some donations to Fifth Street Ministries during that time, knowing that it was a challenge for a lot of people in the community. We also did some contributions to backpacks. There's a backpack program that's local, and that helps kids that weren't able to attend to school to be able to have some food as well.
So even if they're doing virtual school, they still need a backpack, I guess.
Absolutely.
Because right now, what are they doing? They're going 2 days a week, or are the lower grades going 5 days?
Yeah, so K through 5 is going 5 days a week now in Iredell, Statesville, and then the older kids are still virtual. Still virtual
all the time. So I know Rotary. I used to be a Rotarian. I'm a backslider, I guess. So I used to be here in Statesville, but I know that the important work that Rotary does is so. It's so key, and for you, Bryan, it's so good to know that you have a club like this. It's making an impact in Troutman.
Absolutely, and it's people. It's not only the club itself, but it's people like Jeff being involved with the club, frankly, that makes Rotary go. And Jeff's been involved with another business group locally in Troutman, and maybe he can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
That's been really helpful to us here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to start a small network of business owners, for small business owners, to be able to work with each other. We started with 3 businesses about a year and a half ago, and now we have about 125 that are connected online. We also meet weekly on Thursdays and try to get people together in a way that they can get to know each other and build a referral network for folks that are in there. So there's a lot of paid groups out there that ask for you to join and an expectation that you will refer out of that group. But sometimes maybe the people that you're working with aren't the ones that maybe they don't treat customers or clients the way you would like them to treat them, or just the way they handle their business. And so we try to keep that open from the standpoint of we have no expectations. There's no fee or cost to join our group. And it's just a way for small business owners to get to know each other.
So it's kind of like a referral network.
It is to some extent, but it's a way for us to collaborate, get to know each other. And so then what our belief is, the more you get to know each other, then you start to build a trust level, and it makes it easier to make connections when you hear somebody say, hey, do you have an HVAC guy? And yeah, absolutely. We got somebody that we trust that we could send you to make sure you're going to get taken care of.
Well, I know that as you are a financial planner, you must run across individuals, especially business owners, that have used, the word I like to use is pivot. They've had to pivot their business because COVID has made forever change a lot of the ways we do business. So have you seen that happen from a lot of your customers?
Absolutely. I think pivot
clients.
I think that's a perfect way of describing it. I've had, different companies are handling it in different ways, right? And so I've had some that have to take significant pay reductions in the beginning of this. And had we not been doing planning, then they may have not been prepared to be able to do that. And then others that this has actually been an uptick for business. And there's been an opportunity for them to take a step back and realize that they probably do need to be doing something from a planning standpoint and preparing themselves for the future.
I tease everybody. Of course, Bryan knows my full-time job. I would tell my listeners that I'm the operations manager at the ABC store. Our business is going through the roof. Yeah. Maybe it's just crazy. I mean, and for me, it's hard for me to empathize. Well, I can empathize. But for me, business, my work schedule has never changed. I go every day, and for those whose business, their lifestyle's been disrupted, especially, I think the hardest hit folks are the people with school-age kids. And they're trying to figure out a way, because the school, took care of their kids for a large part of the day. And now that's a big need.
Absolutely. My wife's a teacher. She teaches kindergarten.
Okay, there you go.
And so she has definitely seen that connection, right? And it's tough for them, the school systems too, because they want to help the folks in the community in that way, right? They know it's important, but yet how do you do that in a safe way and protect all the teachers and the kids in this situation? Well,
let me ask Bryan. Okay, Bryan, how has COVID changed your strategic long-term thinking for for Troutman, the town of Troutman? Has it changed it?
Unfortunately, we're still spending a lot of time, just managing in the short term. But I mean, long term, there are some things, some events and things of that nature that we've had to plan for further out, as if we were going to proceed like COVID, didn't exist. The Christmas parade, other events, and so we're doing our best to plan like those events are going to happen, yet be prepared to not only handle the event with COVID in mind, but to possibly even be prepared that some of those events may have to be altered or canceled in the future if we have spikes in numbers and things of that nature. So, financially, we are kind of looking ahead and trying to be prepared for that. And I think this next budget is going to be tricky if we experience a long-term economic slowdown. But as of yet, we're crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. And again, knocking on wood, things seem to be working out both in the short term and long-term projections.
So, what has most impacted your revenue stream from a tax standpoint?
Well, we've been, there aren't many data points yet that we can really rest on, but we've been, I think, most concerned about sales tax, and how sales tax is affected, because there's a broad spectrum of businesses that can be affected by COVID. So how, the economy is most directly seen, I think, in sales tax revenue as far as our local government's concerned. You mentioned some of our utility revenues and things of that nature, and those, again, as of right now, those seem to be holding up nicely.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break here and come right back with Bryan Brusbeck and Jeff Smith here on News Talk WSIC. Got the music. And we are back here on News Talk WSIC. Up here, it's 8:49. Waking up here on a Monday, kind of an overcast, gray, misty, moisty morning here in Statesville, Troutman, Mooresville, in the Lake Norman area. Back here with Bryan Brusbeck from the Town of Troutman and Jeff Smith. Good morning again, sir. Gentlemen. Okay, we're going back to talking about reimagining your business after or during COVID and beyond. So, Jeff, what kind of advice are you giving some of your business clients or some of your clients?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to think about how they can best prepare themselves for the unexpected, like this situation. Nobody could have predicted that something like COVID was going to happen and the ramifications that come along with that. And so a lot of what we try to do with folks is help them think about the unexpected and what can we do to best prepare ourselves. I don't think you can ever be fully prepared, but put yourself in the best situation to succeed even in those environments.
I would challenge our listeners to take. I've learned about trial by fire. Unfortunately, my late wife, who passed in 2012, you always think you have enough life insurance. You don't. The other thing I realized my mom is in assisted living. She's been there for 8 years. It can eat up your whole estate. So there are things you need to think about now, and I think you're probably, hopefully, getting through to some people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this situation has definitely caused a lot of people, one, they had time, but two, there was an opportunity for them to take a step back and realize that maybe there were some things that they needed to deal with. And so from a financial planning standpoint, our business has actually done pretty well during this time from that point of view.
When I think this also, my current wife now, she and I sat down and we realized that we need to really evaluate some of those things.
Yeah.
And we need to, reassess where we need to plan for the future. You don't want to think about mortality and that kind of thing, but you've got to think about that in your overall, because people are living longer and longer and longer, and without the resources, it can be a real mess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that people don't understand, they're tough conversations to have, right? And folks don't want to think about their own mortality. But like you described a minute ago about long-term care costs, right now it can cost $350 or $400 a day to be in a nursing home.
Oh.
An assisted living or anything, a situation like that can absolutely erode your long-term savings. And so it can make it a challenge for anyone.
That's right. Okay. All right. So anything, let me go back to Bryan, kind of shift gears again a little bit about the town of Troutman. What is, now you've finished your budget.
Well, actually, our budget year it's on a fiscal basis that begins July 1st and ends June 30th.
So you came in right after the budget was already approved for the year.
Yeah, about a month or so into the budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any big plans that you need to put on the budget for next year, or what kind of some things you're looking out for?
Sure. Well, capital planning is always important in municipal government, and so making sure that we have sufficient infrastructure to be able to handle some of the development that's being both currently planned and some development that we would expect to occur in the future. So can we treat enough water and wastewater to be able to handle the growth? And more people in Troutman means more people driving on our roads. So will our roads be able to handle the traffic? And planning some of those things forward too. Our downtown. As we add more people to the town, I think we want to make sure that we're establishing a sense of place that people remember being in Troutman, as opposed to remember going to a fast food restaurant or a big box store. Improving some of the things in our what I'd call our historic downtown is something that we've been plugging away at here short term, but I think in the future we'll have bigger plans for those that we'll be budgeting for. So,
because the town of Troutman is really nestled right, it's kind of sandwiched in between Mooresville and Statesville. And it's really, you're kind of like just growing. Now, a lot of folks, what do you think that is the biggest need in the town? Is it more housing? You need what do you?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is yes. I think we need a little bit of everything. We're gonna, we were just talking before the show about traffic. We're gonna need to work with DOT on managing growing, our current traffic issues and our growing traffic issues. I had mentioned infrastructure, and that's gonna weigh heavily. But our facilities, we have an excellent park facility. ESC Park that has so many events that take place over the course of a year, and we're still expanding that based on a master plan that was done a few years ago. But I think when you establish facilities like that, you have to be able to maintain them as well. And so planning forward to make sure that we have sufficient staff, sufficient facilities to handle that staff. Those are all things I think the staff and town council and citizens will be taking a very active part in as we move forward.
Okay, very good. All right, so Jeff, go back to you as far as your participation in making. I mean, because Troutman to me is such a vibrant a community, and it's growing. So how do you see, do you have some things planned with Rotary to help assist with this growth? Or
Not so much with the growth, but just trying to make a positive impact in the footprint of Troutman, right? Some things that we have on our immediate horizon is there's a huge need for blood in our community, right? And we put together a blood drive in the first week of July, and we're getting ready to do another one on November 17th, and right there in town at Mary Lynn's event center. So, that's one of the things that we're going to try to do on a periodic basis, just knowing what that need is. And we also have a pancake breakfast that's coming up. Traditionally, it's a sit-down type of an event, but we're modifying it this year because of COVID, that it's going to be more of a drive-through event. So people will still be able to participate because all the dollars that we generate from that go to the Toy Store for Jesus in our local area, and and they are able to take the dollars that we donate and be able to buy 3 times as much as what a dollar normally would be able to with their relationships.
I feel bad. I used to give blood really regularly. I need to go back and do it again. But I have not experienced a COVID blood drive. Is it different? They had little. Have you been to one?
Yeah, so we did one in July, and it is a little bit different, but it's very similar, just a little bit more spread out, and the location that we do it gives us plenty of space.
You got plenty of room.
Yeah, and so we are able to do that. The check-in process is a little bit, we try to keep people more distance in that situation, but that's really all that's different.
Okay, so if somebody wants to get in contact with Rotary, or you have a Facebook page? Or?
We do. It's Rotary Club of Troutman.
Okay.
And then the small business network it's called the Troutman Small Business Network, and we're on Facebook.
Okay. And so you said how many members you have in that?
We have about 25.
Okay. And you meet virtually?
For the Rotary, yes.
Well, Rotary, and then the business?
Yeah, the business, we are meeting in person as well, and we meet at Mary Lynn's Event Center as well.
Now, where is that?
It's right beside Cat's Patch, yeah.
Oh, Cat's Patch.
It's on this north side of
yeah,
town.
that's right. There, crossing the fairgrounds.
So a
Yes, sir.
relatively new space there that the owner, Mark, has done a great job of creating an event space there right during this COVID time. And so an opportunity for smaller gatherings probably could seat 100, 125 people in there at its max, if we weren't under COVID regulations. So, but a great place to meet.
And then if anybody wants to get in contact with you, with your business, they want some financial planning, it's
cplkn.com. So, and we have a web page there.
And where's your office?
It's 134 North East Way, so literally about 5 doors down from
the town hall there.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been a while. I used to go. Emily Watson usually comes in a lot. So Emily's still with you, and she's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's.
Yeah, Emily's one of the first and last people that I talk to every day.
She keeps you on the straight and narrow.
Absolutely.
When you want to do that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't experienced Troutman, you've got some great corporate entities down there: C.R. Unsrud, ESC, and others. Of course, you have the Mitchell component down there. The education is huge in Troutman.
Yeah, the CAT Center is very. The CAT Center is is a very active facility. I think it's great for the county. It has a huge role in that 11th and 12th grade occupational education that I think is so important for the community and for the area.
And two, they're contributing, to training the firefighters there. They're training.
That's right.
They're training because there's a need there for that too. So, so want to thank both of you gentlemen today for coming up to News Talk WSIC, and Jeff, thank you for your information on the Rotary Club and all you do down there. And Bryan, you feel like you're settled in now?
I don't know. Bryan, it's like the longer I'm here, the less I know.
Well, it's good now. You're Bryan with a Y, right?
Yes, sir.
Or we see it's rarely do we get two Bryans with a Y on the radio together. But thank you very much. It has been News Talk WS.